What is the most disturbing fact you know about the human body? There is a spooky and bloody skeleton inside of you. It seems silly, but when I think about it, it creeps me out. Some tumors can grow teeth. Inside the lump you can find teeth and a spinal column. Yes, inside the lump could be your twin. My mother had a cyst on one of her ovaries, and inside the cyst they found cancer. What kind of cancer? Skin cancer, because inside the cyst they found hair and skin cells. In a closed cyst inside my mom. Everyone has cancer. Everyone. In fact, most people develop cancer multiple times a day. Luckily, our immune systems are advanced enough to kill these cancerous cells early. Only the unlucky end up with clinical cancer. Also, if people could not die of old age and ailments like heart disease were eradicated, everyone's eventual cause of death would be cancer due to the limited lifespan of the immune system. Funny how things stick in your head. 20 years ago, I heard a cancer researcher on the radio say that the mystery of cancer isn't why some people die from it, it's why some people don't. Makes you wonder who's walking around thinking about some dumbass thing you said once. Did you know that much of the vaginal lubrication that occurs during female arousal is actually just blood plasma seeping out? So women technically bleed all month? If you're doing it right. The water inside you that you've taken in from drinking has most likely been through someone else previously. It's just been cleaned up. It's all dinosaur piss. Think about it. I'm sure at least one molecule has been inside another human in every gulp you take. In high school, we did the math on the spread of air molecules and came to the conclusion that every breath you take has at least one molecule from Caesar's last breath. You have a friendly symbiotic relationship with bacteria in your gut that keeps you healthy and helps you digest food. When you die, they will eat you. So that's why we cremate our bodies. Spite. The spinal cord is exactly the same texture as a Vienna sausage, and preserved human tissue looks like pulled pork. Bone dust smells like Cool Ranch Doritos. Edit. My anatomy professor would be proud that this is my highest rated comment. Today I learned, never dissect bodies on an empty stomach. When you blush, the lining of your stomach blushes too. Would this explain the sensation of butterflies in your stomach? And also I'm brown so I don't blush. You get butterflies in your stomach when your body releases adrenaline, which is released quite often, which pulls blood away from your stomach into your muscles where it may be better used, which is why you get butterflies during stressful, intense, or certain unfamiliar situations. Apparently, women can access their constipated turds via vaginal wall. This is a fact. If you put your fingers in facing downwards, you can literally push poop out. It feels like a soft turd sitting just beneath the skin wall. Gently massage from back to front with pressure, and you will have a BM. Burning human smells of pork. I think we also taste like it, but I can't confirm that from experience. We smell and look like pork, but the taste is kind of bland, like low-quality pork or unseasoned chicken. You just don't know how to cook it. I'm afraid to ask. There is some college classes that allow you to taste cooked human, all the meat taken from cadavers that died of natural causes. It's totally legit and has been deemed legal. Not exactly disturbing, but interesting. Your body actually has an innate plan for what needs to happen if you end up 20+ feet underwater. This was commonly called the drowning response, but many have argued that this is a misnomer, as a drowning response should be activated at or near the surface. But there are some portions that don't happen there. For instance, the blood shift. When you are deep underwater, your body constricts the blood vessels in your extremities and non-immediately essential organs. Your heart slows. This allows you to not only survive, but to stay conscious, sharp, and alert at some pretty ridiculous depths. While you're down that deep, there's also an incredible calming sensation that keeps you from getting all worked up and using all your oxygen too fast. Additionally, many, perhaps not most, people have the ability to run virtually entirely anaerobically for rather long periods of time. This is how people hold their breath for 10+ minutes without going brain dead. Their body simply trips to run the anaerobic cycle and produce lactic acid, conserving their oxygen reserves to be used to keep the brain conscious. For these reasons, many have argued that this is far more likely a dive response, meaning that we're all a bit better prepared to be in the water than we've been led to believe. You are genetically engineered to be submersible. That's both a little weird and very cool. So you're telling me we are all mermaids in waiting? No, just capable of killing things in the water as well as we do on land without a hell of a lot to assist us. Retrograde ejaculation. As a male ER triage phone nurse, I used to get calls from freaked out guys thinking they broke themselves. You get the complete sensation of orgasm, but nothing comes out. It goes into the bladder instead. The next time you pee, the urine comes out foamy. It's usually a side effect of certain medications. Everything about pregnancy. You basically foster a parasite that mutates your body to suit it. If you take the small intestine of a human and stretch it out in a straight line, that human will likely die. Similar fact, if you took all the arteries and veins in a human and laid them out on a tennis court, the human would bleed out. If you put your ear right up to someone's leg, you can actually hear them say, "What the fuck are you doing?" Your body can turn against itself in autoimmune disorders, effectively killing itself trying to protect itself. If your immune system comes in contact with your eye, it will recognize it as a foreign body and attack it. After giving birth, ladies are advised they don't need to tell the doctor about the huge clots falling out their vagina until they're bigger than a lemon. Almost all cells replace themselves over a course of about 7 years. So you are not the same mass of cells you were 7 years ago, you are a copy. Is that what causes a 7-year itch in a relationship? Wife: you are not the man I married 7 years ago. Scientific husband: well, there's finally something we can both agree on. 7 years, that's not exactly the right number. We shed our skin cells about every 35 days. This is why the tan you got in summer won't last trough winter. Red blood cells live about 120 days, and white cells less than a day. Most of the adult skeleton is replaced about every 10 years. The average age of a fat cell seems to be about 10 years. A 25-year-old heart replaces about 1% of all its cardiomyocytes, heart muscle cells, over the course of a year, while a 75-year-old heart replaces about 0.5%. Our neocortical neurons, the cell type that mediates much of our cognition, are produced prenatally and retained for our entire lifespan. Recently, some research results showed that this is not entirely true. There are very few neurons that are replaced even during adulthood. One day you'll no longer be connected to your consciousness. 300 million of your cells die every minute. That the skin for the labia on women would have developed into the ball sack if the fetus had chaged into a male, and that the clitoris is just an unformed penis. Seeing as all embryos start out female by default, the opposite is a more realistic perspective. That is, the scrotum is an expanded labia with the ovaries inside, and the penis is an enlarged clitoris. We carry poo and pee in us at all times. We don't think about it until we actually go to the bathroom. But everyone has some inside, at all times. That when you need to shit really badly as a dude, it puts pressure in your prostate, which can cause you to get an erection. Also, that we need to wipe our bums. No other animal wipes their bums, only us. This disturbs me. Maybe it is a trade-off for our self-awareness? That would seem fair. Yeah, but most animals also lick their buttholes clean. That everybody poops. Your favorite famous person? His butthole will expand to squeeze out a lump of poop today, probably. In surgery, if your intestines are in the way, the surgeon will just grab them and put them on a rack, still attached to you. What's even grosser? To put the intestines back, the surgeon barely has to do any rearranging. They just jam the intestines in, and the intestines wriggle themselves into place, like a bunch of eels trying to get cozy in your abdomen. Your intestines can move freely in your gut, and often do. I got very uncomfortable when I learned this fact. The human body can actually die if it just gives up for no reason. You can be perfectly healthy, and if your body wants to, it can just die on its own. We don't know what the appendix does, only thing we know is it can kill us if it gets too inflated. If one is born with the inability to break down one single amino acid, phenylalanine, they will become mentally retarded when they grow older if they continue to eat foods containing it. If you could scrunch together all the bacteria living on the outside of your body, They would take up about the same amount of space as a pea. Getting a massage is actually breaking down tissues ever so slightly. We all have mites in our eyelashes which embed their heads into your hair follicles. Had brain surgery, did you know in some cases, they peel your face forward like a banana peel? Humans shed 40 pounds of skin in their lifetimes. If our body stopped making mucus, our stomach would slowly digest itself. It takes the same amount of force required to bite off a carrot as to bite off a finger, if you bite between the joint. What is the most disturbing fact you know about the human body? Leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.